is moving fast, but real value doesn't come from hype. It comes from people, practice, and learning together. Welcome to the Copilot and Teams Users Group, where AI and the AI-powered workplace get real. Your hosts for the Copilot and Teams Users Group are leaders working at the intersection of AI, collaboration, and real-world execution. Preston Piney, Director of AI Workforce at Microsoft, Aaron Miller, Principal Solutions Engineer at Microsoft, and Ryan Herbst, Chief Strategist at Unified Communications. This is a monthly online show and users group session designed for learning, sharing, and accelerating real AI value. The first 45 minutes are live and open to everyone, broadcast on LinkedIn, YouTube, and into the exclusive members-only users group meeting. This public segment features panel discussions, expert interviews, real-world demonstrations, plus news and analysis centered on Copilot, Teams, and the AI-powered workplace. Then we transition to something different. The second 45 minutes are a non-recorded, members-only users group session restricted to qualifying mid-market and enterprise end users. This is a trusted space, a shared journey, where members learn, explore, and openly share what's really working with the goal of accelerating AI value inside their organizations and personally. If you'd like to apply to join the members-only users group, you'll find a link in the show notes below. This show is made possible by our standing sponsors, Microsoft, bringing Copilot and the AI-powered workplace vision to life, AI Producer, a Teams native production studio that upscales Teams meetings, town halls, and events, and is being used to produce this show. Unified Communications, a global integrator and Microsoft partner that consults, deploys, and supports organizations in bringing their vision for a modern AI-powered workplace to life. With deep expertise across Copilot and Teams adoption, Teams Rooms and AV, Teams Phone, and Microsoft Places. Each episode also features a rotating show sponsor, highlighting innovation across the ecosystem. Whether you're just starting with Copilot or scaling it across the enterprise, you're in the right place. This is about real experiences, real lessons, and real outcomes. Let's get started. Welcome to the May Copilot and Teams Users Group live broadcast. I'm Ryan Herbst, Chief Strategist with Unified Communications, and we're super excited that you've joined us for what is going to be a great show.
Hey, I'm Preston Piney from Microsoft. I'm working on Copilot and AI adoption, and my job is helping customers move from AI curiosity to practical scaled impact.
And I'm Aaron Miller. I am a Copilot Solutions Engineer and with Microsoft. And similar to Preston, my job is also helping our customers, but really answer those technical details about how AI can be leveraged in their day-to-day.
If you work for a company with 750 or more employees and you're an end user, you're not a reseller, a consultant, or a vendor, we would love to extend an invitation for you to join the members-only Copilot and Teams Users Group sessions that take place monthly immediately following this live broadcast. You can scan this QR code to request access today, and you'll be notified for future monthly sessions. And I'd love to thank our May show sponsor, Logitech, for helping to make this show happen, and to welcome Diego Gentili to the show. Diego, again, thanks for the support. I'd love to have you briefly share with the audience how Logitech is helping to bring the AI-powered workplace vision to life.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me today, and it's our pleasure is ours to sponsor. Today, I want to talk about how Logitech is using AI to transform the modern meeting experience, especially for organizations using Microsoft Teams and Copilot. When most people think of Logitech, they think of keyboards, mice, and webcams. But over the last several years, Logitech has become a major player in the unified communications space, building AI-powered collaborative technology for hybrid work environments. Our partnership with Microsoft has become especially important with companies continuing to adopt Teams Rooms and Copilot-driven workflows. One of the biggest ways Logitech uses AI is through our RightSense platform, which includes technologies like RightSight and RightSound. These AI capabilities are designed to make meetings more inclusive and productive. Just a quick example, RightSight uses AI-powered camera intelligence to automatically frame meeting participants, detect active speakers, and dynamically adjust the camera during meetings. Instead of the old traditional way of the static conference room camera showing everyone from far away, the system can zoom in on speakers, create individual participant tiles, and provide much more of a natural experience for remote attendees. On the audio side, Right Sound uses AI, noise suppression, and voice equalization to eliminate distractions like keyboard typing, HVAC noise, the chips that everybody likes to eat during those meetings, or echoes in large conference rooms. It also helps balance quieter and louder voices automatically so everyone is heard clearly. This becomes especially powerful when integrated with Microsoft Teams and Copilot. Logitech's AI-enhanced audio and video systems help improve speaker recognition for meeting transparency, and Copilot-generated summaries and action items. In other words, better room intelligence leads to better AI outcomes inside teams. As organizations continue adopting Copilot and AI-powered productivity tools, the quality of the meeting technology becomes even more important. Logitech's approach shows how AI is no longer just software on a screen. It's becoming part of the entire collaboration experience from the camera lens to the meeting recap. Logitech understands that the successful collaboration solutions are far more than just hardware. I always say nobody hangs a TV straighter than anybody else. It's the value and the expertise that integrators like Unified Communications provide their clients. And that's exactly why Logitech's partnerships with experienced integrators and collaboration specialists are so important. Together, we help organizations design, deploy, and optimize intelligent meeting experiences that fully leverage platforms like Teams and Copilot. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to listening on.
Thank you so much, Diego. So shifting gears into our first segment, Preston, what do we have teed up?
Well, I think this one's kind of interesting. Most of us kind of think about Copilot within Outlook as kind of being something that we use to maybe draft some email, summarize a few threads, and maybe it saves us a few mouse clicks during the day, right? But what's really cool is I think that's all kind of changed quite a bit. So what I want from Outlook, right, is I want it to prioritize my inbox for me, right? So now that we have Copilot with agentic capabilities in there, it can do that. It can help me with my scheduling nightmares of how am I going to figure out how to get this to work with all these different people. I think that a lot of folks just didn't realize that Copilot within Outlook now has these agentic capabilities. So I think it's super exciting. Honestly, I think it's probably where things really start to get interesting for most individual knowledge workers, because let's face it, no matter how much we hate email and calendaring, it's what we do every single day. So with that, maybe Aaron, you want to show us some of these agentic Outlook capabilities?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Preston. I think you're absolutely right. This is where people have wanted these functions to the Copilot experience in Outlook to be since day one. They wanted to help them do the hard parts of Outlook. Obviously, things have to grow and iterate. If just to be super clear, what we're going to show and talk about real quick is definitely a licensed experience, and it is under what we call a frontier experience. So it's kind of that preview experience that sometimes is gated by your administrators in your organization. But just to give you a heads up, there is a great article out here that kind of showcases these features as well. But I'm going to do a quick demo on just a couple of them to give you a real feel of what this is like. So here, I'm just going to jump over to Outlook on the web and just show you my favorite. And the very first thing that I did once I started getting access to this was this little prompt right here. So I'm in my calendar in Outlook and I have Copilot open, and I told it automatically decline meetings if they're outside my work hours, because in a very large organization, we get meeting invites all the time and they're not careful enough to actually target them to people in the right time zones. So I get ones that are for EMEA or Europe or things like that. So that's fine. I don't mind. But every morning it seems like I have things to go in there and decline because they're not targeted to me. So this will actually go ahead and set up a rule to automatically handle my Outlook, those invites that come in during my typical office hours. I'm sorry, my typical non-work hours, and set that up. And you'll see it's going to start by kind of looking for some clarification. Good old demo stuff. Here we go. We'll give that one another shot in a moment. Let me move forward with another one. The other experience here is where you can actually get to be able to have it create and manage meetings for you. So here I'm going to ask it to schedule a single recurring series for weekly one-on-ones. for Teresa, one of the people in this company and my demo tenant here. So Monday afternoons, reschedule if conflicts occur. So, and just a quick comment on what it should put in for the agenda. So here it's going to look and see what some time options are to schedule one-on-ones with Teresa. I have Teresa's calendar up over here as well. We'll take a quick look at hers. She's going to be pretty not busy because these are demo accounts. So we'll notice like there's nothing really in here for her. But as we jump over back here while it's working, you see it's found Teresa. It's looking up her information and working to create our one-on-one connections here. Give that just a moment to bake. And I want to, yep, okay. You'll notice up here in the in my calendar, I'm actually seeing this little section called Calendar Actions, and it says Frontier here. This is an indicator that you would have these capabilities in your Outlook. So this is an area that starts to show up when you have these kind of features available to you, and it goes through. So here you see it's asking me to pick a time. It's showing me, it's kind of highlighting them on my calendar to say, here's what I'm offering to schedule. It's telling me what's going to do, a recurring meeting and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 3 o'clock here to set up with Teresa and send the invite. Once this gets done, this is pretty straightforward, right? It's just scheduling a meeting. The real magic comes when we've actually set up this meeting. We have the time slot booked. And what's going to happen is you'll notice it's here. It shows that it's recurring weekly one-on-one with Teresa. When we come over to Teresa's email, we'll see that she also has this in her calendar, but I'm going to actually create the conflict, and we're going to see Copilot go ahead and address that as it realizes that there's a conflict. So Teresa's going to say, you know what? Actually, I have a urgent customer meeting, and we're going to have Maud, that's the person who just sent the invites to them, my other demo account there, and we're just going to find the conflicted time here to make sure that we cause the issue for Copilot to address. So Mondays is when I picked that meeting. Here we go. We see the block on the calendar. I'm going to go ahead and make this cover that and say, send this meeting. All right. So now that we have that over there, we jump back over to our other account here, and we'll see, here we go, we see the conflict, but I haven't accepted it yet, so it's not going to do anything just yet. When I say accept, now there's going to be a process. It can take a moment, so we're going to give it a moment to bake while we look at some other things, but it's going to figure out that there's a conflict here, and it's going to go back and address that for us. In the meantime, I want to show a couple of things over here and just Outlook in our emails of additional things that it can do. While that's figuring things out in the background for us. Here, we've been able to previously like open a new email and have Copilot kind of write some stuff for us, right? Kind of draft this or help me reply to this email and things like that. Here, I'm actually asking it to look at my calendar, or I'm sorry, at my mailbox, look at a bunch of content in it and write a draft summarizing some of the content that I could send out to, say, a customer. This particular mailbox, I have the Microsoft Message Center posts coming to this particular account. So there's a bunch of these in here. So I asked it to look at the last week of content and generate a draft message. While that's working, you'll notice some things have been happening in my mailbox. So here we see the urgent conflict or the urgent customer meeting. And here you'll notice Copilot said, hey, I successfully rescheduled the one-on-one with Teresa. So it already is telling me that it went ahead and did that. Here in just a moment, actually, let me see. We'll just open a new tab. Yeah, you can allow that. There we go. Oh, not that. Go away. All right, there we go. We'll open this up and take a look at the calendar over here, and you'll notice that this is no longer conflicted, right? So Copilot went ahead and fixed the conflict for me by checking Teresa's account and my account and saying, hey, these times look available as well for you, and addressed it automatically. So I didn't have to say, oh, hold on, I can't accept that until I reschedule. Would have been easy in this case because it was all Teresa and the one user. But you can imagine in more complex scenarios that gets difficult, or one-on-ones with different folks instead of the person that's giving you the conflict. So here we're back to it's still reading and summarizing our email. And here in just a moment, it should generate that process for us. And if you're ever curious about kind of what it's doing and its thought process, it's really good about telling you how it's going through and thinking about and bringing this content together.
Which is kind of good to check out because you also have that stop button, right?
Yeah, for sure. We can be like, hey, you're on the wrong track. That's not what I meant. Let's stop, try again, do something different. All right, it's preparing the email. We'll give that one more moment. While that's running, I do want to show over here as well under the calendar where it did that. If you're ever like, I didn't notice the email, I didn't notice that it rescheduled something, it's absolutely going to tell you things that it did. So back up here under my calendar, we have that frontier section. It actually will show me that it did a reschedule and dealt with that. If it can't figure it out, it's actually going to show me that it has things that it needs attention on. That I need to help it figure out. So there's things that it'll do automatically, but if it can't do it reasonably, then it will indicate, hey, here's a problem that you need to help address. And then, of course, if you want to add additional instructions, you can just click the button. That'll take you into that Copilot experience. My favorite is it's going to actually now give you some suggestions of how to get started. It's kind of prompt you up, tell you, here's things that you could do with your calendar to get started in managing all these things. As always, it always tries to kind of help you along the way. So let's go see our draft. We should be done still preparing that draft. All right, we might give that one just one more moment, and then I'll start on my rules, which is my last demo. We'll let that one process for just a moment. This guy, he's just going to give us some suggestions of things that happen. So I'm not too concerned about this particular prompt. Just know that that add instructions there is going to give you that type of information once you see this available. So other beautiful thing about this is you can have multiple things happening at once. So it doesn't have to be just that one thing and I got to wait until it finishes. I can continue on and keep working. Last bit I have, as you see, a bunch of these message center type of emails in here, and nobody that I know of really likes doing Outlook rules, right? So finally, we can ask it to create some Outlook rules. I'm actually going to tell it, hey, all those message center posts from that email address that they come from, put those in a folder for me. So here we go. We're going to let it process. We'll give it just a moment here, and we'll just kind of keep bouncing back and forth while we process. The beauty of live demos is it's not canned and we can just cut to the end. But here, you see it's analyzing what we have. It's looking for details about where it should try to create folders and do things. Keep going. While he's processing, hey, here we go. We finally finished our draft. So we finished reasoning over it. Here's a quick summary of the key items that it found to put into the draft. And you'll say, great, where's the draft? Where it should be, right here in my drafts folder. You'll notice I have one new item over here. We take a look at it, and it wrote me a nice, pretty email here to say, here's the weekly updates, a summary of the key items on it, and so on, that then I could put my customer's email address in or copy this and send it to 5 customers, however I would like to do that. If I knew the customers I wanted to target or I wanted to tailor it for them with the context I know, I absolutely could have put that in the prompt and it would have tailored this message more specifically for that customer and their context. In a generic demo here, I'm not doing that today, but it's absolutely part of the power of working with Copilot and having that work IQ component where it understands your context and can bring that into play in all the content it creates. All right, last bits here, finishing up the rule. It's telling me, hey, I can create a rule for you. Here's what I would do. I would use this email address for the rule and I would put it in the MC updates folder. Is that what you want to do? I tell it to confirm. And it's going to go actually create that rule for me. I previously had no rules in this particular mailbox. So great, it's setting up the rule. You'll notice over here, all of a sudden there's a folder, MC Updates. It even went and made that folder for me, which is amazing. And then I come over here and I take a look in my Outlook rules. And there it is, new email going from here, from this address to this folder. And if I wanted, I could run it right now and process what's already in there. But in general, that's the beauty of that agentic capability within Outlook, being able to actually ask it to do the things in Outlook that were hard and get me further along than if I had tried to do that individually on my own. What do you guys think?
It's super, super cool. And thank you. And I know as Aaron shared that a lot of these new features appear initially in Frontier, and Aaron kind of shared where you could see that in Outlook. If you're not sure if you have access to Frontier, you can go into the M365 Copilot app, and under Agents, you can go into All Agents, and it'll bring you to the agent store, and you could search for the word Frontier and see if you're enabled, you should see some agents that you can add that have some of these capabilities. But there's lots of goodness there, and if you don't see that, you can check with your tenant admin to see if they are enabled or if they can enable you for Frontier. So yeah, next up, let's shift gears to the AI-powered workplace. This is a topic that's certainly near and dear to my heart. How do we create a workspace where users feel AI-powered experiences everywhere, not just at their desk? We want to empower users and AI to understand where people are and where they're going to be, and the ability to access resources like rooms and desks. Really, we see as being a coordination and collaboration force multiplier. And so I'm super excited. We have a special guest with us today. Brennan McReynolds is the principal program manager who leads strategy for Microsoft Places at Microsoft. Brennan, thank you so much for joining us.
Ryan, it's great to be here. And this is a great segue from all the great Outlook and calendar value that Aaron just showed us, because that's our team as well. I think it's important for people to acknowledge and recognize that places and the construct of location and the workplaces is actually a part of the larger calendar and Outlook organization. So we're really just that hyper-focused location intelligence layer that fuels and creates additional Copilot context. So really cool to see all of the work that our team's been doing, Aaron, demo live for everyone here.
Yeah, and with the introduction of Work IQ, which Aaron mentioned as this kind of intelligence layer behind Copilot, able to pull context from files and meetings and chats and now location, how does Places fit in?
Yeah, I pulled up just a couple quick slides, Ryan, as we speak here. I think we've all seen versions of this Work IQ graphic, and as I just alluded to, like Places has this is really a part of the broader calendar and Outlook story. At the same time, the AI-powered workplace that's predominantly a team-centric value proposition, Places provides value there. So I think it's important to know that we're kind of this ingredient, as I shared earlier, around the customer spatial data, buildings, floors, rooms, desks, and then B, and in many ways, most importantly, as context of workplace presence. Who's here with me today? And I think something I just want to highlight to further connect what Aaron just shared with everybody. When we think about the Copilot calendar, Outlook, Copilot experience that Aaron just shared, these are the key. This is the key framework and concepts that we operate off of. So we really think about what Aaron just shared is that executive assistant for all of us on how do we make sure that we have somebody looking after time, which is our most precious and deeply personal part of our day. So our key pillars of value are really how do you organize your time, how do you schedule your time, and then how do you collaborate within that time. So preparing for meetings or following up, all these things. So it's almost this kind of left to right. And Aaron showed us a lot of these things in the demo. These experiences show up within Outlook. They show up on the calendar surface, and then they're further supported by Places as that location context layer. So I just wanted to maybe share this framework for everything you saw live demo. It sits under these three key pillars of user value: organizing, scheduling, and collaborating. And then calendar is really that surface where we deliver that. But Ryan, most importantly, what you highlighted is like Places is this location intelligence layer that now fits and fuels and creates context for both natural language experiences in Copilot, location-based experiences in Teams, and other value across M365.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I guess if people are not familiar with Places, because I think we know, Places has a lot of recent momentum, but there may be some unfamiliar. Maybe just give us a sense of where you see it playing a strategic role for an AI forward or a frontier type organization.
Sure. I think as we've been talking about here, context is king in terms of how we choose and when we choose to collaborate with one another. And I like look at my calendar. It's like, what time do I have today? Who do I want to collaborate with? So it's really the when, the who, and then the where is the resultant of what I'm trying to accomplish, and the availability, time and availability people. And places helps enable that collaboration layer and make it more AI driven through Copilot and more agentic into other experiences that are showing up across both the Copilot ecosystem, the Teams ecosystem. So we really think of us as this location intelligence layer. At the end of the day, the user shouldn't have to think about places as an application or as a product. You use Calendar, you use Teams, you use Copilot. We're meeting the users where they are. It's really more about the language for us to talk about the role of the location in order to drive more meaningful, more purposeful in-person connection and collaboration.
Yeah. I know there were major licensing changes in April that moved places, certain elements of places like the Finder and Explorer out of the Teams premium license and into the core M365 of licensing. And many customers woke up to discover that they now own a lot of places capability. What are you seeing in terms of adoption patterns kind of since that change? I know this was recent, but what are you seeing?
Overnight, it was kind of like there's this bottleneck of a lot of customers had begun to set up the Places Finder room reservation experience. They started adding pictures, but they were gated from a licensing perspective. So in the first 45 days, we saw usage quadruple. So I think a lot of people had prepared for that moment or had been doing the work, maybe just didn't have their licensing squared away. So we've just seen that grow, and then that's also been a catalyst for just a continued acceleration of adding all of my buildings into M365 into the Places directory, and then adding my floors, and then now maps are also available within this kind of current core E3, E5 licensing. So maps are no longer premium. If you have a map and you want to show that and create a map-based experience to know where's Ryan today or where's my next meeting, that's all now available in current licensing, and we're seeing the representative growth, but also our partner ecosystem, like you all support our customers and enabling this kind of AI-powered workplace.
What are you seeing as the biggest mistake that organizations make when they start deploying places?
It's awareness. I think you just shared with everybody, like April 1st, big license change. There's probably 25% of the participants on this call that have no idea what we're talking about, right? And so understanding across your current stakeholders within your organization, but also what's available to you today, and creating that level of awareness of what can I do, what is Places, or where does it light up is part of that. So it's really awareness and alignment across stakeholders, and then across data and governance in order to create and light up these experiences. Some people know how to get a building list or how to get a room list. Some people don't. Are the real estate and workplace organizations, facilities teams involved in order to create a more meaningful in-person experience? Some organizations are, very, very well organized in terms of having them all operate either as a subcommittee or as a part of a team. And then we see some customers where that may be more bifurcated, and we need to find opportunities to align those groups and stakeholders.
We saw each other at ISE, and there I know you shared several big roadmap items for Places, map-based booking inside of Outlook and Teams calendars, I think arriving this summer, and then automatic location detection via Wi-Fi and space profile cards. What are you most excited about in terms of things that are going to be coming in the near term that you think will have the biggest impact?
Yeah, I'll go back to this theme of, context is king here, and the role of Places is to create this new level of context for Copilot. And the two things that I'm most excited about really culminate into, in some ways this slide, which is this Wi-Fi based workplace check-in, which has been in private preview for a while, is right around the corner. We're talking a few weeks away before that going to GA. That will create this new type of context for organizations who choose to turn it on, to let others know who else is here with you today. And that context is further unlocked through these Copilot experiences where I could say, which day should I go in, or who's in the office today? And Copilot can begin to say, well, hey, Ryan's here. Did you know that? And then if I say, well, yeah, let's book a time for me to meet with Ryan, then we can build upon the experiences that Aaron just showed us. And then these location cards start to arrive in these natural language experiences to where you understand, okay, here's a room. How can I book it? Or I want to book a desk next to a colleague. So we're really increasing this contextual fabric of location across all of them 365, as you've heard me say, but it's going to show up more naturally into these agentic experiences. So space has a proper home to make sure ultimately, like our mission is to just help people create better in-person connection and collaboration. And I think those two things are really going to be, or that outcome is going to be realized through these releases that are right around the corner this summer.
That's great. I look forward to a time when I can visit one of our offices as a remote worker. Often I go to Houston or other cities, and being able to ask Copilot, who in the office do I work with that I could go to lunch with, and it will know who's there. I think that'll be amazing. So yeah, very cool stuff. Brendan, thank you so much for joining us and being our very first guest speaker on the Copilot and Teams user group live show. It's great to see places evolving into what feels like connective tissue between people, space, and AI. All right. For our last segment, let's stay on the theme of AI meetings that use exactly where they work. AI meetings that use the user exactly where they work. One of the most loved features of M365 Copilot is meeting recaps. If you haven't seen meeting recaps, it's like the number one thing people don't want to lose when they think about if I didn't have Copilot. So there's a newer feature, though, that has rolled out that I think hasn't gotten much awareness for the everyday user. So that's something called custom AI summary templates in Teams meeting recaps. Really rolls off the tongue. But it is a great new feature to help you get some more personalization in those recap experiences. With that, I think Preston is going to give us some examples of how you could leverage that. Preston?
Yeah, thanks. So, it's kind of interesting here. First of all, make sure everybody knows where to find a meeting recap. So I'm just inside of Teams. I happen to be in my web browser. It doesn't matter if you use the Teams client, which most of you probably do. You'll find when you've been in a meeting that you'll have like a chat from that meeting, like I see here. And you always see the view recap pop up as soon as it's ready in there. You'll also notice across the top, there's a recap button here at the top that can get you there. I'll tell you, for me, I'm usually coming back to these things later, like a day or two or whatever, kind of like I am here. And you can see this meeting occurred yesterday from 12:30 to 1:30. If I click on that meeting, you'll see it pop up right here in the card. I mean, it's showing up pretty much everywhere. When I open the meeting itself, it's right here. So the whole point is it's easy to find these meeting recaps. It all takes you to the same place. In this case, I didn't record the meeting, so you don't see it ready for playback. And what you see instead is just the notes and the AI summary and all that. And we've all seen these AI summaries, and they're pretty good, but they're very generic by design because they're designed to have value for every single person who participates in the meeting. What I kind of dig is, like, I was in a meeting quite literally yesterday where it was pretty typical for me. We had a customer call. I had myself and two other folks from Microsoft who were on that call. And what we really wanted to be able to have were some kind of meeting summary that were specific to each of our roles. So in my case, I happen to really be interested in product insights. So what are the things that we're hearing from the customer, their insights that I can take back to product teams or business architects, that type of stuff. And so I want a summary that's very much focused on these types of insights. What are the signals that I need to be paying attention to? All these things, and actionable recommendations for me in my role, right? Makes perfect sense. But for the account executive who was on the call, they have a completely different thing that they're coming and looking after. And so under this custom summaries, we can have multiple different templates set up here, one of which is the decision brief that I've created, right? So to be clear, this insights brief, decision brief, and execution brief are all things that I created in advance. And just like Aaron, the live demo gods sometimes come out to kind of bite me here. So I'm going to see if my live cooking show version, oh, there we go. Now it's rolling out for me. It now shows me here are completely different set of notes coming from the exact same meeting. So it's the same transcript, right? It wasn't recorded, it was just transcribed. And so from that transcription, it's got a completely different view of the exact same conversation. And so what you'll see here is I have another one that's on execution brief. So that's somebody whose job it was, in this case, somebody in Aaron's role, whose job it is to actually follow up and help the customer go get this done and build it out. So another brief for them. There are a couple you'll see by default here, like speaker summary and executive report. You should check those out. They're fantastic. But I thought, the one person that we didn't really encapsulate in that meeting was like somebody in Ryan's role who does like this AI transformation. So Ryan, I've got one here for you. So what I thought we would do is just real quick hit create template, and we'll just come in and put in you're an AI transformation consultant reviewing this meeting. I think we should probably add in generate some transformation readiness assessment sections. So business objectives discussed, workflow friction and operational inefficiencies, collaboration patterns, some signals of readiness, and maybe a few quick wins. And then finally, some recommended next steps. Right? Sounds perfect. We should probably also, before we go, just put in a few requirements. So focus only on the transformation opportunities, avoid any generic AI language, prioritize business impacts, and if evidence is thin, just say so. I hate it when it gives me all this information that really probably wasn't highly valuable. So in this case, before I ever save it, I can hit preview and actually get a chance to see exactly what the output is going to look like. I like that a lot. So I'm going to save that, and I'll call this AI transformation brief. You call it whatever you want. But what happens here is from now on, any meeting that I come into, I will automatically, when I click on custom summary, have each of these tabs right here ready for me. So I can run this AI transformation brief against any future meeting that I'm in. This is fantastic for, in this case, I've set up different personas, effectively briefs for each of the personas, but there's all kinds of different things. You may have a brief for a recurring meeting. I like to think about it like this. I know you guys do this. I'm sure everybody watching does too. I have a meeting that occurs every single week. I have a personal office hours that I run with a lot of my peers, and I have a custom summary that pulls out exactly what I need. Which accounts did we talk about? What were the things that they needed help with? What are the action items? What did I promise I would do? What are my commitments? Those types of things. And so that's really where I encourage people to start coming in here and building this all out. It's pretty simple. One last thing. Do I have one more minute? Okay, I got to show this. This isn't this thing up here where it says audio recap. That is just like, I got to show it. So check this out. You hit this button. Now take it a minute to build out, but for me, I've already built it.
Today is Tuesday, May 26th, 2026. We'll be going through the Zava Energy meeting, where the team focused on support.
Hopefully you all heard that, but what you can see here is that I can jump to any segment within this
Amber
and just start
opened up with a
listening to
clear
it.
directive from the last workshop. She's pushing for a tighter focus.
So very cool feature that's there. You can do that with any meeting that you've got. You can jump around it and play it from any particular place, but it does create a really nice podcast. This is the last thing I'll show is if you click that listen on mobile, it'll give you a QR code that you can just pull up your mobile phone, grab that QR code and listen to it on the go. So if you've got a few meetings you need to catch up on, you can add them in here, use the listen on mobile, go take a walk, come back later. Perfect. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Guys, I love this feature. I think more people need to go and discover it and find new and creative ways to use it in their own life.
Totally agree, Preston. I think this idea that the same meeting, the same artifact or transcript kind of coming out of the meeting certainly has different value to different people. And in some cases, just seeing that in different formats. So even for the same person, I think I may need something specifically to recap that meeting and to send out notes that might be different than the way Microsoft does it by default. Being able to do that is super powerful. I think the example you shared where we could actually look at transformation opportunities to see what kind of inefficiencies are happening across our organization just by looking at a transcript. Or we could organize something in a way that makes sense for a sales team or to ingest into something else, some other system in our organization is super, super powerful. So yeah, great demo and great insights on how people can use custom summaries. And As we've shared before, this AI journey is hard, and it isn't something that you need to figure out alone. This is exactly why we created the members only users group. And so, again, if you're an end user and you're working at a company with 750 or more employees, we'd love to invite you again, just take one more opportunity to invite you to the members only users group. You could either attend today or you could attend future sessions. But this is really where some real magic happens. It's interactive, it's intentionally not recorded, and it's a powerful way to further accelerate both your personal and your organization's AI journey. So you can scan the QR code or click the link in the show notes below to request access, and we'll approve qualified members, and you'll get calendar invites to join the interactive monthly sessions both today and going forward. And for everyone else, please follow the Copilot and Teams users group. You'll be notified of future shows and announcements and new content. And big ask, we would very much appreciate if today's show resonated with you, please share it with your network. We are really working to get the message out. We have a lot of effort going into this, and we think there's some great content that we've shared, and we're going to continue to really be bringing some amazing content. And so we'd also love to hear your feedback, and you can share your comments below, and feel free to suggest topics that you'd like to see us cover in future broadcasts. So yeah, Aaron, Preston, maybe just any kind of closing thoughts before we wrap.
Sure. I think one thing I loved about this particular session we had today was it focused on really practical, simple, almost automatic things that AI can bring to bear. People get really excited about the really long running things, that all the cool stuff you read about online of claws and coworks and whatnot out there, right? They can do all these amazing things in a really long process. But some of these really simple things, I mean, maybe it took 30 seconds to generate a summary in a different way, but still having that there that is all the time for you to really simplify day to day or the little nitnoy aspects of your life, I find are the even more valuable things that people kind of tend to glaze over when they think about the next level of what's going to be capable for the masses. I think these things are the kind of core value that everyone hopefully will start finding and really depending on. Because that's how I live with AI day to day, right? I find that these are the things that I wouldn't want to not have anymore. Those next level things that are really complex are great, but there are also a lot of effort and a lot of cost involved to get to that point. And these first things are there and ready and useful today. And so when you're thinking about like, where's AI and how is it helpful to me? These are the things I think about from the start. Preston?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think that one of the things we do on this portion of the show is to be able to quickly give people practical tips, things they can go and use and have access to today. If you don't have access to the Frontier program, go talk to your IT folks. Seriously, go ask for it. It's just another rollout ring where you get early access to tech that Microsoft's building, and you can do the stuff that Aaron showed. And if your calendar is busy, unlike his demo account, trust me, the value of that goes up like dramatically. I want all of you to come join our community and come talk to us. The reason why is we're in rapid fire here. We're like just showing you things so you can get off the blocks and get started. But when we get over there, like I'll share the actual prompts for each of those, summaries, custom summaries I showed. We'll talk deeper about how to use this. We'll talk about what to avoid. Like how do you want to make sure you're not sending or saving too much AI stuff that then ends up, poisoning the well, making things worse in your environment. What are the types of things that we're seeing in the real world? So come join us over there because we'll have a much deeper conversation, and it follows this live broadcast immediately. So if you're not there this week, or this month, I sure hope to see you there next month. With that, Ryan, back to you, man.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to wrap up this broadcast. We're going to transition directly into our members only interactive session. And so thank you again for joining us live, and users group members, we will see you in just a minute.
you.